Hello, Dynasty owners. I'm Matt the Jerk here with your weekly breakdown article. So today we're going to be talking about the Los Angeles Chargers. We'll jump into them pretty quick here. So the Chargers, I'm continuing with my team theme that I've been doing over the past, really the entire year since the start of the new year. So we're talking about the Chargers. They finished the 2020 season with a 7-9 record, and I wrote this about them in one of my articles back in 2020. I believe this was right after week 13. And I noticed a stat where they were in 10 out of their 12 games that they had played, they either won the game or they were within one score if they lost. So they were very competitive. The record doesn't really reflect how competitive they were, especially to start that season. And then obviously as Herbert started to get more comfortable with the offense, they started to get a little bit better. And the loss of Austin Eckler halfway through the season, middle of the season didn't really help matters. It's not going to when you lose a running back of that caliber. One season for them. They got a great young quarterback, as we're going to find out in a second here. He's one of the top quarterbacks excited about to see his career play out. And then in my article, I just talk about kind of the season outcomes for each team in the AFC West. That's who we're going to be talking about for the next 4 weeks. Obviously, the Chiefs finished in first place, 14-2 record, and they were eliminated in the Super Bowl. They made it all the way to the Super Bowl. They lost to the Bucs. So I did put a trivia question in my article, and I'll tell you right now. It is we know the Chiefs have been pretty dominant for a while now. When was the last season that the Chiefs did not finish first in the AFC West? So I'll release that at the end of the video, but give you something to think about. In what year did they last not win the title, first place in the AFC West? So let's jump right into it. Today we're going to be talking about some quarterback rankings. It's probably my favorite thing to do for Dynasty owners, doing rankings. That's what got me started and doing some content for Dynasty owners. So let's jump right into it, and hopefully this will help you guys out with whatever you need to whenever you're doing your startup drafts. All right. So keep in mind that these aren't, I have to explain this kind of every time, these aren't rankings based on where they're going to finish at the end of the 2021 season. Because I think everyone would agree that it would look something like Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, players like that are going to finish top. Probably Russell Wilson, he'll be in the top 5. This doesn't reflect that. This reflects value rankings for the entire career that you're going to have in Dynasty Owner. It doesn't just take into account 2021. 2021 takes in a big factor for it, for sure. But that's not the only piece that plays into it. So let's jump right into it. And I'm going to actually screen share these rankings with you so you can follow along while I'm talking about them. So I'm just going to leave those up there while I'm talking. And if you go through them, first thing you notice that Justin Herbert is, in fact, my number 1 ranked quarterback. And I don't anticipate that's going to change. And it's obviously kind of fitting that, this is a Chargers article. I tried to somewhat revolve this around these teams that I'll be talking about too. So Herbert finished 9th, QB9 in 2020. Very impressive. First, given the fact that he was a rookie. Second, the fact that he didn't play in the first game and he was pretty much thrown into week 2, not knowing that he was going to start except for a couple hours beforehand. So he's projected to be the 5th quarterback in 2021, according to Dynasty Owner. And then his contract is just rock solid. 3 years, $6.6 million. It doesn't get much better than that, especially for a top caliber quarterback like him. The combination of the cheap salary with 3 years left, I mean, it's a no-brainer for me. I could listen to the argument that you put another player above him, but for me, it's definitely Herbert. And then actually all the ADP that I've been seeing, I know it's really early, but all the ADP I've been seeing kind of matches that. He's right at 3.8, and that's by far the number 1 quarterback being taken. So no surprise here. Number 2, we have Kyler Murray. He's a close second, but it really just comes down to that extra year. If Murray had 3 years left instead of 2, he would probably be my number 1. It just comes down to that 1 year. And their rankings are pretty close. Like I said, I could listen to an argument for Kyler over Herbert, but I'm going to take that extra year if it's me. That being said, I do believe that Murray will outscore Herbert in 2021. It's just Matter of finding the value where you can, and how much that 1 year is going to matter to you. So number 3 I have is Joe Burrow, and I have Kyler a tier above Joe Burrow in terms of fantasy producing quarterback. In terms of like the 2021 season, and that's the reason Burrow ranks lower. I know I just made the argument for Herbert about the extra year, but I think that Kyler's production this year and in the next 2 years is going to outperform Burrow's 3 years, and it's more valuable than that extra you're going to get from Burrow. Kyler and Burrow make roughly exactly the same amount of money, so that's where they land. Let's see, here we got Josh Allen. So Allen was a tough one for me. He comes in at quarterback 4, and there's no doubt in my mind that he's going to be the most valuable quarterback for this year alone, 2021. If this was, we're taking into account salary, of course, but just for this year alone, Josh Allen is far away the best quarterback because he's making, what's he making this year? Right at $5.3 million. And he's probably going to finish, I have him ranked for finishing second on the year behind Mahomes. So if he finishes top 5 with that salary, that's unbelievable. He's probably going to finish top 3 as far as what I'm projecting him. Just unbelievable value. But like always, you can't just look out 1 year. You can't just look out for this 1 year. So what are we thinking in the future? And I try to break this down. His future is a little bit unclear still as we go through it, but he's got money coming in 2022, whether it's a big contract, like a Mahomes style contract, or if it's going to be his 5th-year option. So a little history behind what he did. So Buffalo exercised Allen's 5th-year option for 2022. So if nothing else changes, if they don't sign him to a big contract, he's going to be right around $23 million in 2022. I find that unlikely. The general consensus is going to be that he is kind of just like a placeholder contract, a placeholder option until he can agree to terms on a big money contract. I expect that he's going to do that coming into the 2022 season. It'll probably be before the new league year opens, so that'll affect us at Dynasty Owner. And I also expect it's going to be over $40 million, right around 40, a little bit more. Maybe not quite Mahomes money, but who knows with all this big TV money coming in next year, and then also the salary cap going up. So still yet to be seen, but that's really the reason I don't have him as quarterback 1, because that money's coming and it's going to come quick. And it's not that he's going to be unrosterable, because Mahomes is rostered in plenty of leagues, but it's going to just decline his value big time, like it did for Mahomes, coming into this year. So up next, we have Trevor Lawrence. Let me just make sure. Yep, Trevor Lawrence is QB5. He's the only quarterback on this list that hasn't thrown an NFL pass. So he's a rookie. You're going to get that 4-year contract, great value. Little risky, obviously, NFL, but I trust the process. I trust his talent. I think the Jaguars are going to be on the uptick for the next couple of years. They're really putting together some offensive weapons. So he comes in at quarterback 5. And then up next, we have Jalen Hurts. So